Harnessing the beauty of the power shell and working together with nature to create the blue pearl has been the lifelong quest of Roger Beattie. He's the managing director of Eyris and Pacific Blue Pearls, and also holds the record for the greatest number of power caught in one dive.
Well, you can only get a blue pearl from New Zealand, and the blue pearl comes from paua, and paua is an abalone. And abalones in general are the most colourful of all shells, and the paua, this abalone, is the most colourful of all the abalone shells. It has the greatest range of colour of any shell. We've got white pearls from the white pearl shell, and we've got black pearls from the black pearl shell, and now we've got blue pearls from the paua shell, or Haliotis iris. With an oyster, you've got two shells, and they come together, and when something gets inside there, a piece of shell, a piece of grit or whatever, the oyster closes the two shells, and then it forms over the top, and it doesn't have a big muscle, so it can't expel anything that gets inside there, whereas an abalone is a single shell, and it has a large muscle in it, and if anything gets into the inside of the shell area, the muscle either pushes it out or forces it against the shell, and then the nacre on the inside of the muscle, between the muscle and the shell, forms over the top of whatever it is that's on the shell. And that's why they produce particularly good marbets. And there are a few round pearls, but they're generally very small and misshapen in the wild. It takes 3 years to grow a marbe pearl or a blue pearl in an abalone, because you've got an optimal thickness. We try to get minimum of 0.3 of a millimetre, and they lay down so slowly. It's a very tough layer that they're laying down, and if you grow it for longer than 3 years, they become misshapen, and if you grow it for less than 3 years, it's not thick enough. All of the diving for abalone in New Zealand is done by free diving. That you're not allowed to use air. It's a great thing as far as conservation is concerned, because you can only get so many paua in one dive, and when they get out to a certain depth, it's very difficult for people to dive down below about 45 feet. Well, there are a lot of sharks out there, especially on the Chatham Islands and down south at Stewart Island, and a number of people have been bitten. I've been pretty lucky. I've spent 15 years as a diver and didn't get bitten. I'm pretty lucky. Okay, well, when it's dived from the wild, we keep it in very good conditions. So we ship it at a low temperature. At 6 degrees is the optimum temperature. So you can't afford to stress these paua at any moment. They're a very delicate animal. And then we put them on the marine farm, and then we hold them there for about a month until they've any stress has gone out of them. And then we nucleate them, and we use no chemicals in our whole operation. It's a totally organic system. We use warm water, just mild warm water, to relax the animal, relax the paua, and then we do the nucleation with very clean hospital-like conditions. And then after that, we put them back in their barrels, and it's a very short process from the time we take them out of the water, nucleate them, and then back in the water again, minimising stress and having happy, healthy paua. Well, it's really important that we have our blue pearl farms where paua naturally grow, where you've got really good water flow, where you've got good access to seaweed, where you've got clean water, where you've got no pollution, and those areas are quite specific. We've got our main farms in Akaroa Harbour, Tory Channel, and then we've got another one in Wellington Harbour and another one on the Chatham Islands. Well, going over to our blue pearl farm, our first blue pearl farm in Akaroa, the home of the blue pearl, you drive up towards the hilltop, and it's a long windy road, and you've come from Christchurch, you've come from a city environment, and then you get to the top and it opens out into Akaroa Harbour, and there's just beautiful shimmering water. You're up in the clouds or just coming out of the clouds, and there's this beautiful village in the far distance where the French settled, Akaroa, and then we drive around to where we have our blue pearl farms, and then you look out into the open ocean. It's a magical thing. There have probably been about 20 different breakthroughs. It's hard to figure one in particular. It's such a complicated process. You've got to select the right stock, the right parent stock out there in the wild. We only use wild stock power. They have to have great colour, great lustre. They have to be young shells, just size, so that they're full of vigour. And then it's the nucleation process is really important. It's how well you look after them in the wild. It's the food you feed them. We feed a huge variety of seaweed, and it's brown seaweeds, red seaweeds and green seaweeds. It's how often you feed them, it's how often you clean them, it's how well the nucleation process is done. Cleanliness is absolutely important. All of our blue pearls are produced from sized power, that is the legal size for taking a power, which is 125 millimetres or 5 inches. And there's a set limit per area around New Zealand. It's a very well administered and policed fishery. So there is a set number that can be harvested in any one year, yes. Well, the blue colour comes obviously from the shell of the power, but you get better colours where you've got really good seaweeds, good quality seaweeds, good variety of seaweeds, the type of water they're growing in, that you get the best colour where you get the greatest range of temperature, you get the best colour where you've got offshore marine farms. It's the variety of food, it's the amount of food they eat, it's the genetic makeup of the power. There are so many things that go to combining the colour. The last harvest was an absolute cracker. The colours coming through were just exquisite. We had beautiful blues and beautiful purples coming through. All of the people that are involved in our whole blue pearl operation we invite along to the harvest, because it's just such a time of celebration. It's you know, this is what we're in this business for, to produce exquisite blue pearls. And when someone comes across just an absolutely beautifully coloured blue pearl, you know, they hold it up and you know, whoop it up. It's a really great time.